Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. As you may know, my name is Siti Dayabiti Sabar. Today, I want to tell you about the physical sport versus e-sport. But before that, I want to ask you, do you interest on the physical sport or e-sport? So, if you interest on the physical sport, how far are you on the interest on it? And if you interest on the e-sport, how far you get the achievement on the e-sport? But before that, there are many reasons why we choose whether the physical sport of the e-sport. Maybe for the physical sport, when they play the game, for physical athletics are more interesting than e-sport because for the e-sport only on the screen and cannot be touched, but can be impact on the design of the game that attract us to play the game. And when they think about the e-sport, they just think about the wasting time and not effective on the daily life because do not have physical interaction. And also, there are many achievements in physical sport of e-sport in our country that can be cleared. This is because both have recognized worldwide in the competition and it also have their own difference and similarity for the benefit of the physical sport and e-sport and also the disadvantage. But before we go further on the physical sport or e-sport, I want to tell you first about the definition of sport. Sport is all form of usually competitive physical activity, which through casual or organized participation aim to use, maintain or improve physical ability and skills, while providing entertainment to participants and in some cases, spectators. And also, sport is generally recognized as activities which are based in physical athleticism or physical dexterity with the largest major competitions such as the Olympic Games. Then, elaborating on the sport, meeting this definition, and other organizations such as the Council of Europe using definitions, prohibiting activities without a physical element from classification as sports. However, a number of competitive but non-physical activities claim recognition as mind sport, which is known as a e-sports. Then, for the sport have their own rule, which is sport are usually governed by a set of rules or custom, which serve to ensure fair competition and allow consistent injunction of the winner. Winning can be determined by physical events, such as scoring goals or crossing a line first, or by the determination of judges who are scoring elements of the sporting performance, including objective or subjective measure such as technical performance of artistic expression. So that's the role of the sport. So do you want to know what is the difference between physical sport and e-sport? The main difference is the gameplay. Their gameplay between physical sport and e-sport is different. For the gameplay of physical sport, players need two teams of people to play against each other in a physical location and require more physical movement. And then with physical sport, there are already fundamental changes to well-established sport, which is soccer will always be soccer. There may be minor difference once a decade also, but in essence, the game will always the same. And the final major difference for the physical sport or e-sport is about the financial side of things, which is with larger sport organization owning and operating our physical location, they are able to earn more money from ticket sale and broadcasting, right? So, what is the difference for the e-sport gameplay? Okay, for the e-sport gameplay, players are not required to be physically present to play the game. All they require is an internet connection to play against one another. With that being said, that the competitive gaming scene is increasingly having in-person tournaments. For competitive gaming, there are often minor or major updates to the game that change the fundamental way it is played. An update called introduce new playable characters or traits to the strength or ability of the champions. This forces pro gamers to be flexible with changes and to incorporate updates into the creation of their strategies. However, with the gaming sphere, teams often operate from their home. So usually if a game is broadcasted at all, it will be only on the online TV gaming. So this is the difference between the gameplay of the physical sport and the e-sport. Last but not least, the similarity between the physical sport and e-sport. There are three dissimilarity of physical sport and e-sport. For the first one is for the team versus individual, and the second is the competitive versus recreational, and the last is the overuse. For the team versus individual, which is just like in sport, some sport are competed as teams while others are individual feats. Sport like Overwatch, League of Legends, and CSGO, Counter-Strike require a team of 5 to 7 players. Teamwork is just important in this game as they are in a physical sport like soccer or hockey. So, what is the difference? But no difference. Still on the similarity for the physical sport and e-sport, which is for the position, effort, defense, attack, support. So their character as the skill to fill a specific for this position. The team's communication and strategies are critical to success. Within in this case is defined as defeating the opponent. Same for the physical sport. For the second is the competitive versus recreational. What is the same? First, people participate in sport for a variety of reasons. Some enjoy the social environment with friends while they participate in an intramural league. Others just want to stay in shape, and some have dream of Olympic gold or racing the Stanley Cup above their head. It is also true with e-sport. The majority of e-sport players are as it for the recreational component, whether as social activities with friends or as interactive entertainment. Most e-sport players just play to enjoy themselves like a physical sport. So, like a physical sport, only less than 0.01% of e-sport participants even make it to the pro level. So, for the physical sport, they need more require exercise, training to increase their ability and their strength. Same like the e-sport. And the last is the overuse, which is we refer to the athletes turned professional, which is the activity lifestyle change to one of intense training. Like I said before, all of a sudden the activity of the patient becomes scheduled and supplemented with sport science, gym training, and intense coaching session. This is why many of the best athletes in lifestyle sports remain recreational and also influence for the e-sport players. So as the conclusion, they have the benefit and disadvantage, the difference and the similarity between the physical sport and e-sport. So, e-sport or physical sport should be classified as a real sport and countries should identify them as such. With the definition of sport highly reasonably with e-sport intel, it should be a no-brainer that society views e-sport as sport and the players as athletes. The high similarity between the presentation format and league structures allows the billions of physical sport fans to seamlessly become fans of esports too. So within the next 10 years, believe that the e-sport, whether of physical sport, will be rival together, such as the NHL netball team, the training team, viewership numbers, and revenue. In the future, it may even see e-sport in the Olympic or perhaps a separate Olympic just for e-sport and just for the physical sport. Either way, it's an exciting time to be a fan of video games and e-sport people. So the truth is, there is a difference and similarity between the physical sport and e-sport. Thank you. That's all from me. So now let's go for the e-sport.